Hello, today I will tell you stories about creepy camping horror. First, the disappearing camper. In the summer of 2017, a group of friends embarked on a camping trip to the rugged wilderness of the Pacific Northwest. Their destination was a remote and seldom visited area known for its breathtaking landscapes and pristine lakes. They set up camp next to a crystal-clear lake and spent their days hiking and fishing. On the third night of their trip, as they sat around the campfire, they noticed something strange. One of their friends, Sarah, who had been sitting right beside them, suddenly vanished. They searched the immediate area but couldn't find any sign of her. Panic set in as they realized she was gone without a trace. With their flashlights and lanterns, they combed the surrounding woods, calling out her name. Hours passed, and they began to fear the worst. They eventually decided to return to their campsite and contact the authorities. As they made their way back, they were greeted by an eerie sight. Sarah was sitting at the campfire, seemingly unharmed. She appeared confused and disoriented, unable to explain where she had been. To this day, Sarah has no recollection of what happened during those hours when she mysteriously disappeared. 2. The uninvited visitor. In the summer of 2019, a father and his teenage son set out on a camping trip in the Appalachian Mountains. They chose a secluded spot deep in the forest, far away from any established campgrounds. Their plan was to bond over their shared love of the outdoors and enjoy a technology-free getaway. On the second night, they were awakened by the sound of footsteps outside their tent. Assuming it was just a curious animal, they stayed quiet. But the footsteps grew closer, and soon they could hear heavy breathing just inches from the tent wall. Terrified, the father unzipped the tent and shone his flashlight into the darkness. What they saw chilled them to the bone. A disheveled man, dressed in ragged clothes and sporting wild, unkempt hair, stood inches from their tent. His eyes were wide and vacant, and he appeared to be muttering to himself. The father yelled at the man, demanding to know what he wanted. Without uttering a word, the intruder turned and disappeared into the woods. Shaken and fearing for their safety, the father and son decided to abandon their camping trip immediately. They hiked back to their car in the dead of night and reported the incident to the local authorities. To this day, they have no idea who the mysterious intruder was or what his intentions were. 3. The vanishing campfire. In the summer of 2005, a group of college friends embarked on a camping trip to a remote area of the Colorado Rockies. They found a picturesque spot by a pristine mountain lake and set up their campsite. The first few days of their trip were idyllic, filled with hiking, swimming, and stargazing. On the fourth night, as they sat around the campfire, they noticed something peculiar. The flames of the fire began to dance wildly and erratically, casting eerie, elongated shadows on the trees surrounding them. Suddenly, the campfire extinguished itself, plunging the area into complete darkness. They attempted to relight the fire, but their efforts were in vain. It was as if the firewood had turned to stone. Panic set in as they realized they were miles away from civilization with no source of light. They huddled together, listening to the sounds of the wilderness around them. In the distance, they heard faint whispers, almost like a chorus of voices carried by the wind. The voices seemed to grow closer and closer, but they couldn't make out any words. Terrified, they clung to each other, praying for dawn to break. When morning finally arrived, they found that the campfire wood had returned to normal, and they were able to light a fire once again. They packed up their belongings and left the area as quickly as possible, haunted by the inexplicable events of that night. These allegedly true camping horror stories serve as a reminder that even in the beauty of the wilderness, the unknown and the eerie can lurk just beyond the campfire's glow. Whether you believe in the supernatural or not, these tales are sure to send shivers down your spine and make you think twice about camping in the wilderness.